Good morning.
Morning.
It's been a tough week for me personally, for the defensive staff, for this organization, for this team in general. Not only because of the way that we played, but also when we lost a damn good coach. A really good coach, a good friend of mine who I brought on to do a job. And that's unfortunate. It's unfortunate. But you move on in this league, and you continue to strive for greatness. You continue to strive for winning, and that's what we'll do. And another thing that happened just to me personally is to hear about Coach Zimmer, who Coach Zim was my coach in Dallas, hear about what happened to his son. That was another downer, in my opinion. So I know you guys have a lot of questions. Some of these questions I will go ahead and answer right now, just what I'm speaking on. But Dan made a decision, and I'm going to support that decision. I mean, that's my job. He's the boss. And whatever decision that he make, it's our responsibility to support and continue to move on, right? And that's what we'll do as a staff. That's what I'll do as a coordinator. And nothing surprises me in this league. Nothing. I've been in this league for a long time. I've seen good players get cut. I've seen good players get traded. Hell, I was in the expansion draft, and I just made a Pro Bowl with the Jets. They took me to the Texans. So nothing surprised me. I've seen coaches get hired. I've seen coaches get fired. Hell, I was a part of having a coach for a day, Bill Belichick, who sent me a text and said that he was leaving. Well, he didn't say he was leaving, but he said it's going to be a crazy day tomorrow. So just know that I love you, and this won't be the last time that we end up, talking or whatnot. So, man, nothing surprises me. So I will cut those questions off right now. That it's part of this business, and you continue to move on. So, questions.
You said, Dan made the decision. You're the defensive coordinator. What input do you have in your own staff? I mean, I know it's Dan's staff, but
yeah,
what role do you play in that firing?
The role I play in that is support him. That's my role. And anytime he makes a decision like that, because obviously he sees the big picture and he's looking at everything, and he has to make decisions about that, like any head coach would do. And that's nothing new that happens across this league. Hell, I think it just happened to Indy with the offensive coordinator. So when he makes those decisions, yes, he will come in here talk to me about it. And like any other good coach, I got you, coach. I'll say my piece and we'll move on.
How do you feel like that move, at this point of the season can help the team, moving forward? Like, how do you see that helping the team moving forward?
Well, I would say this, that we have to do something about this secondary as far as them moving forward. We have other coaches in this building that can help, including myself, and I'll be a big part of helping in that. But Brian Duke would do a good job, and Addy would do a good job in that situation. So obviously I have to, do a big part in helping in that, plus also do my coordinator role as far as planning for this game. But you will see me helping with those guys.
You say your piece when Dan comes to you. What was your piece? Do you try to?
That piece will stay between me and Dan.
On Sundays, we talked about miscommunication in the secondary. Did you notice miscommunication or communication issues with Aubrey in the secondary, or situations that were impactful?
Well, here's what I will tell you, is some of these issues that we have, they shouldn't be issues. And we got to execute a lot better, okay? And there's a lot of touchdowns that's given up that shouldn't be given up. For example, the one to Waddle, and like that shouldn't be given up. We should have a safety over top. We should have a safety that's cutting for Tyreek. So two guys should be taking those guys out. And it didn't happen. And for whatever reason, we have to get those things cleaned up. Because the one thing that we can't do is just give up easy touchdowns. And that's just defensively. So we got to make sure those things are taken care of.
Eric, given your own background in the secondary, saying you and Aubrey came from the same tribe, as you put it early on.
Yep.
When these errors are persistent, how much do you look at yourself, point the finger at yourself when these decisions are made?
As the coordinator, I always point the finger at myself. Because at the end of the day, how the defense performs, that's on me. That's on me. I give a vision of what I want defensively. The things I do, I let my coaches coach. I think that's the best way as a coordinator to not be to not micromanage your coaches. Allow them to coach. That's why you hired them. Because if I was gonna coach all the players, and I don't need them. You know what I'm saying? So I think the best thing for me to do is give the vision, man, let the coaches coaches. And I will say this. I think it's important that you let coaches be able to do some of their own things, all right? Because it makes them invested in what you're doing. If I was to go in to any coaches, to Wash, to Shep, and say, this is how we're doing no matter what, then what good is that for them? How do they grow? How do I learn different techniques? You know, there's nothing in this game as far as DB play, D-line play, linebacker play that I'm still not learning on too. You know, they come with their ideas, and I always listen to those things. Yes, there's some things that I want to get done. I want to get it done the way I want it, but there's also things, listen, this is the way you've done it. We got to make sure it works, and we move on from that.
We can all relate that micromanaging bosses are the worst. But do you,
Uh-oh. You're trying to tell me something else. Like,
as you look at this big picture wise, do you tweak it a little bit? I mean, do you change your style even a little bit to be more hands-on, more involved, or do you stick with the same philosophy of how you've approached it thus far?
well, the thing that I will do is me, Duke, and Addy have sat down, and we just talk about a go forward. And there's some things, this is how we need to do these. So the communication is not as expanded right now, you know, and they're in agreement with that. And I do have to help them. I mean, Duke is a really good coach. I mean, I've been with Duke since Cleveland, and I know he's going to do a good job. Same with Addy. But I do think it's my responsibility to spend more time in that room to be able to help.
It's been a lot happening with the team. When we saw the owner come out last weekend, was her support, you know, for the staff that she has in place. We saw T.J. Hawkinson leave. Obviously, we saw Aubrey leave. I guess what's the sense of urgency when you're seeing all these things happening within the organization? Is it still an urgency you think to win this season and not look too far in the future?
I really don't understand that question, to be honest with you, because this is a league. That's all you know. That's why you play. I mean, I don't want to say that phrase. Play to win the game. All right, that's Herm. But that's all you know. That's the reason why you do it. So I don't understand that question of.
I guess you know what I'm saying. Like, just like it seems like things are being more so built for the future. You know, when they giving away Hawkinson for trade picks, we're talking about supporting these guys in the future.
Yeah.
I guess what's the mood and mentality right now? Is it still?
I think every decision that's made is made to win. Period. Some guys might not understand that, but it's made to win. If it's in the future, but everything's meant to made to win right now. I know that's how I look at it, and I know these men that's here look at it like that too. We don't have time to sit back and build something and let somebody else get ready to use it to get fired. You know what I'm saying? So every time we go out to practice, every decision that we make is made to win the game, period.
Just specifically as it relates to sort of filling Aubrey's duties and what I don't know, what more is on your plate. You know, he was like pass game coordinator, right?
Yeah.
So is Duker doing some of that? Is that back on you? How do you divvy up those responsibilities specifically?
We're all going to be a part of that. As far as pass game coordinator, the titles don't mean anything to me. It's how do we get these guys to operate the way we need to operate? Listen, we got a lot of young guys back there. And the one thing that hurt us really is Tracy not being there. So the communication is really tough. And then you have Deshaun that was out last game. He comes back in. Akuda has really played, 17, 18 games in his whole career. Jerry's out. He's going to get a chance to play. He'll get some snaps come this week. I thought that would be a question you guys asked, but he will get some snaps. Man, we're so young back there that we got to continue to just, keep drilling, keep hammering in on, man, we cannot do things that make us lose games, right? You have to do that before you start winning games. Now, that's something that I preach this morning to our guys.
Green Bay too. Obviously, their offense hasn't been what we've been used to seeing for
Yeah.
the last few years. What do you see in what's gone wrong? How dangerous do you think they still are with Aaron still pulling the trigger?
Well, they still have that guy. So as long as you have that guy, you have a chance. Listen, this is the NFL, and I wish you can go and win the division every year, but you can't. That's just – it doesn't happen. League of parity, free agents, all that. Things change. Draft, things change. That's what we're hoping for us, all right, as we continue to move on, to get to be in that leadership position as far as this division. So, man, as long as they have that guy, man, anything's possible for them.
The identity in your secondary. In the
Yeah.
last 2 weeks, maybe it's matchup based, but a lot more zone. the last 2 games after, playing pretty heavy man both last year and early this year. So what do you see as your identity in the back end going forward?
A little mix of both, because you have to look at who you have and be able to design something that help benefits those guys. And you're right. This game we played a little bit more zone. We were trying to jam the receivers and not allow these guys in the teeth of our defense. Man, it's tough running with those 2 guys for anybody. I don't care who you are, if you're a good man team or not. So each week, man, we have to design a plan that's going to give us the best chance to win. So when you talk about identity, it's, man, who do you have, right? And what fits them best? And that's what we do every week.